What's up, superhero fans? Welcome back to GME Podcast, where you get kept up to date with all the latest and greatest superhero news, including games, movies, and entertainment. And in this video, we're going to be taking a step in, diving into Insomniac Games and what direction could be next for Marvel Spider-Man 3.
The 3 games are out. We have Marvel Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and fans are kind of hungry, looking forward to what could be coming next. And in this video, we're just gonna, speculate and also take all the information we know so far and then put it in one video to then see what the future of Marvel Spider-Man universe could actually be for us. So what do you think? Because I think yesterday we're talking about all the informations that we have so far, and we found it interesting that we might as well make a video to, speculate and see what the community is thinking about. And in case you guys have any information that we are not aware of, I have my friend here, GME Podcast, who's gonna narrate us. This guy is a gaming connoisseur. Do you know what I mean? Like, he knows everything in and out when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let us know, bro. Like, what do you think in terms of all the evidence we've had so far? What do you think Insomniac's preparing for us?
I appreciate the super great introduction about the game connoisseur. I'm not an insider by any means, so guys, so I don't want you guys to think I'm a Jeff Grubb or any one of those guys, or Miller Ross or anything, right? So this is what me as a gamer, right? This direction I think they're heading in with the Marvel Spider-Man 3, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, we get DLC. DLC could be picking up after Carnage. We could have, Black Cat returning from Paris with her girlfriend. I think that we all know, Marvel Spider-Man 2018 was supposed to have the Miles Morales DLC incorporated into that, but they didn't because they wanted to make Miles Morales have his own spin-off story, essentially, which kind of worked out perfect because of COVID times and things like that. So that worked out perfect, giving Miles Morales his own 15-hour campaign. Now, do I think they will do it again? It's possible, right? Do I think they will?
Yeah.
I'm a 50-50 because
so they're gonna give us the three segment DLC we had in the PS4, and at the same time as well give us a Miles Morales
and give us some Miles Morales
hours DLC.
Yeah, so that's what the original plan was, and I don't even think it would have been 15 hours long. Maybe 10. A 10-hour DLC, possibly 15 minutes, whatever we got in the full game for Miles Morales. That could have definitely been in a DLC. Now, this is where I think the direction is heading with Insomniac Games. We know they fell victim to the ransomware attack earlier this year, right? So we know they are on backtrack for a lot of great things, like DLC would have been announced. They would have been hinting at DLC. We know we got the Wolverine leak. We know we have the canceled Insomniac Games, the multiplayer Spider-Man game. We know all of those things are canceled now. So what I'm thinking is now, if they move in a direction, if they have the Marvel's Wolverine releasing in 2026 now, because obviously that's delayed 100%. There's too many leak footages on almost the entire story, the plot online right now. So now they have to go back in and revise and redo all of those things. So I don't think that they will do a Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales 2. I don't think that's going to happen. What I think they're going to do is maybe push that. If they were going to make a separate game, they would move that DLC into Marvel Spider-Man 2, which would essentially stretch from obviously taking up after the events of the campaign. We got Cletus Cassidy. He has the symbiote now. So he has the symbiote, and it's headed towards him being Carnage. We have Rafe, who's obviously still alive. We still have Peter and we still have Miles. We have, at the end of the story, we see the Green Goblin going to go talk, not the Green Goblin yet, but we see Norman Osborn going to go talk to Dr. Otto Octavius and asking him, do you know who the Spider-Man are? And it's one of those things. He's like, I'm not going to tell you if I did know. So
hold on there for a second. So you're saying we're gonna have Carnage as a DLC villain? I mean, to be honest, it's only one villain, bro. Like, you remember, like in Marvel Spider-Man 2018, we had like 3 segments of DLC. We had the Hammerhead, we had the Silver Lining, if I can remember right, and then we had the Catwoman, something like that. So we had like 3 segments. Having just Carnage as one DLC character, I don't know. So unless they're gonna make that DLC really long, they have to make like at least 20 hours long kind of DLC, like a really chunky DLC. Do you know what I mean? And most people are kind of insinuating there's gonna be Venom in the DLC, but that don't make no sense because the symbiote died in the game. Do you know what I mean? Like
Cletus, as of what we know right now, Cletus Cassidy has the last vial of the symbiote with him.
Yeah, but that's the red symbiote though.
Yeah, but remember, it's like I was saying, the symbiote takes after the host appearance. It's like this, right? So the reason that when Venom got on the Harry, you notice in the story he didn't have the spider on his chest.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When the symbiote got on to Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he had the spider symbol on his chest, right?
Yeah.
So he takes after the host. So do you notice in the game, like how at first, when you first got the symbiote as Peter, it kind of gave him a shell like it did for Harry. But the symbiote noticed that Peter didn't need that because he already had a healing factor. So you notice that thick bulkiness of a shell that they gave Peter when the symbiote attached to Peter. Peter didn't need that like Harry did. So the symbiote adapted to that and made it more of a slicker, more of a shinier look, a base like his suit would be. Right,
so the symbiote kind of adapts to the host.
It adapts to the host, so that's why it's black while it's in a vial.
And
but
then
when it attaches to Cletus Cassidy, since he is the leader of the flame, and the flame is what it's red. Fire is red.
Because I'll be honest, like, well, while we're playing the game, the part when he picked up Venom, right, when he was fighting with Peter and the train crash and all that stuff, when he picked it up, it looked red. So I'm thinking, it's already red because that's gonna be Carnage. Obviously, now I'm kind of figuring out it's from the flames that were like all around him, making it to be red in color. Oh, that's crazy. That's good. That's good.
So the symbiote attaches to the host. So when the symbiote was originally on Harry, it knew that Harry needed that armor shield around him because he didn't have a healing factor. When it got onto Peter, it still looked like it still had some armor onto it until you progress later on through the game and it gets a more shinier, a more slick look. It's not as bulky as it was because the symbiote noticed that Peter is Spider-Man and he has a healing factor, so we don't need to have an armor around him opposed to Harry.
Okay,
right? So Peter can fall off a building and still be alive as Spider-Man, right? Harry won't be able to do that. So the symbiote has to attach an armor around her or stop him from falling, in a sense. You know what I mean? Because he knows that he won't be able to recover from it Peter Parker will be able to.
Hold on. Like, let's say for argument's sake, right? So let's say Venom comes into the DLC, right? So where does Silk come in all of this? If you check from Marvel Spider-Man 2018, we then go up like to Miles Morales, which dropped in 2020, and then from there we had Marvel Spider-Man 2, which came out like 3 years after that. So that means, because if you see how Insomniac's been doing it, they got the main game, then they got a spin-off, and then they got on the main game. So obviously we kind of expecting some kind of a DLC spin-off. But if they make the DLC now, because obviously it's taking time to come out now. It's been like it's gonna take like maybe, let's say, next year or something for the DLC to come out. That's gonna take a while. And from them to make the DLC and then make Marvel Spider-Man 3, and in between that they have to release Wolverine. That means we could be expecting Marvel Spider-Man 3 to launch, let's say, 2029. That's a very long time. Do you know what I mean? So like, how do you think all that is gonna play out? Because we know Silk is gonna come into someone because she's already been introduced. We also know that the Spider-Verse also has been introduced into the game, so that's a possibility. And there are other characters like Wong and Doctor Strange as well, like we mentioned earlier. And then yes, it's kind of a mess here and there. So what do you think all this is gonna play out? Just give me a timeline of what you think is gonna happen from, let's say, from now to the nearest titles that could be releasing soon.
Man, if I'm being honestly genuine with you, I think that Marvel Spider-Man 3, we could be getting that maybe 2027, 2028 maybe. I don't think they're going to push it all the way to 2029. I don't see them having that 6-year gap, right? We got too much going on in the game right now. We got Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, we have Eddie Brock known as he's in that universe. It's already been stated that he's in a universe. So
how did they confirm it that Eddie Brock's in the universe?
They said it on X. One of the guys asked them in the comments, is Eddie Brock in the universe, and they said yeah.
And he confirmed he's there. Okay.
Yeah. Insomniac Games confirmed Eddie Brock is in the universe. So now that we do have the symbiote, we had Agent Venom, which was Harry and not the Amazing Spider-Man, but the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show that aired on Disney XD, right? So Harry was Venom in that in that universe, and Flash Thompson was Agent Venom. So I kind of see what they did with that spinner. I know Insomniac Games was like, oh, we're going to do something that's never been seen or heard of before about Harry being Venom, and it's like, yeah, Harry was Venom in that cartoon. So once again, they tricked us, so we have Venom, Harry, as he's no longer Venom anymore. Eddie Brock confirmed in the universe. We have Cletus Cassidy. So we already speculated, right? I don't think they're going to do a Spider-Man Miles Morales 2 video game. I think they're going to, like Jeff Grubb already speculated before on this podcast, they're going to do a Venom spinoff game, right? So in the DLC that's going to be coming up for Marvel Spider-Man 2, I don't think that they're going to have Venom, not Venom, but I don't think they're going to have Carnage as the main antagonist of that entire DLC. We already know that the multiverse is already confirmed in there. I think they're going to hint more towards Carnage, but I don't think they're going to actually be able to kill him off, because they need to have Venom have a main antagonist in his video game.
So now we don't, a Venom video game, like a standalone.
standalone Venom video game. 100%. I believe that in my heart that it's going to be a Venom standoff video game, and then we're going to have obviously the main antagonist in that video game is going to be Carnage. Right, so and a lot of people don't know, like Venom, you can throw flamethrowers at this dude and it's going to knock the symbiote off. Right, so Carnage is a lot more resistant to fire because Cletus Cassidy is the flame. So that's why they insinuated that fire with Cletus Cassidy. Carnage is a lot more prone to fire than Eddie Brock or I guess now a Harry Osborn Venom would be when it comes to fire. So now that we do have all of these games that are coming out, we already have it leaks. I think we're going to be getting Wolverine, like me and you talked about, not next year, 2025. We're going to get that 2026.
Okay, hold on. So let's put a timeline on. So from now, 2024, obviously we had Marvel Spider-Man 2023. Then after that, 2026, we get Wolverine.
Yeah,
right?
Wolverine.
Okay, then
Wolverine for 2026.
From that,
if I had to get my honest opinion, I would say Wolverine 2026. We get DLC for Marvel Spider-Man sometime later on this year or the beginning of next year, leading up to Marvel's Wolverine for 2026. And I still don't even think that game's going to be ready at the beginning of 2026. Maybe towards like the end, right around. Right around, if GTA was to get delayed, right around, that time. So we got Marvel's Wolverine in 2026. We have a DLC for Marvel Spider-Man at the end of this year, maybe early 2025, right? Yeah. And if we were to get a Venom game, I say that hints towards like 2027 if they do make it, right? If they do make the game. So we got 2027 for the Venom game, and maybe like you said, 2029 for Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Because if it gets too clocked up, like you have a lot of things to work on. We know Insomniac is a big team, but how big are you to manage to build 3 games in let's say in 4 to 5 years? But obviously, like people said, but what you're saying makes sense though. If they're gonna introduce Cindy Moon, obviously Silk, into the the universe of Marvel Spider-Man, then they have to do it through the DLC, because making a whole standalone game
for Cindy Moon, I don't see that happening at all.
Future projects, so I kind of see her being in the DLC.
Insomniac can do it though. That's the thing. Look at Marvel Spider-Man came out 2018. Miles Morales came out 2020. The Marvel Spider-Man 3 came out in 2025. That's a 5-year gap. No, games.
Not 3 games. More than 3 games. That's what people don't realize. Insomniac done Marvel Spider-Man 2018. Right, then they done Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, same as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So they released 2 games for the PS5 at launch, and then they done Marvel Spider-Man 2. That's 4 games, bro. I mean, so Insomniac's been the let's say the developer that's been carrying the PS5 ever since launch. Like they've been dropping bangers back to back. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to put out all this content in 5 years' time. But at the same time, we have to take in consideration, obviously the cyber attack. The cost is going to take to build the games, and obviously the whole crunch around the video game industry, what it takes the developers to put out these amazing content. But anyways, so I mean, I guess we just have to wait to see. But all these informations that have been confirmed, well, kind of confirmed, because the community is always speculating, always like data mining and seeing what information is out there. I've heard about Blue Beetle as well. So what do you think about the Blue Beetle rumors?
For the DLC? I think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to just scrap that, because fans already saw something about that. So they're still going to incorporate Beetle into the DLC. I don't think that he's going to be. See, and that's another thing too. You got Beetle. It's so many different. I know you said the 2018, right? It had all those different characters in there, but Black Cat was a part of the original storyline. Silver Saber was a part of the original storyline. Yuri Lowenthal, but Yuri was a part of the original timeline campaign of Marvel Spider-Man 2018, right? So you had 3 people that were in the original campaign incorporated into the DLC. The Hammerhead was in each one of those episodes. He was the main antagonist.
He was the main antagonist.
Okay, so Hammerhead was the main antagonist.
So we have Cletus Cassidy, we have Blue Beetle, but I don't think it's going to be an antagonist. It's probably going to be like a kind of a sub-hero or something. It's probably going to work with Spider-Man, I'm guessing. Like Blue Beetle, he's not antagonist. I mean, he's not a villain, is he?
Yeah. Beetle is a. I mean, a villain, but he's not a Green Goblin or Hobgoblin.
Yeah. He's
Dr. Octopus.
He's more kind of thing. Yeah,
he's more of like a Scorpion level type villain. But like I said, it's whatever the writers want. Where the developers like they can write this guy to be like Incredible Hulk. type level. So
Do you know what I mean?
it's just one of the things. It's like the the battles. Whoever wants to write it, whoever the writer wants to win, that's who's going to win, basically.
Who's going to win? Yeah.
So I think that we're going to have Beetle in there. We're going to have Carnage in there, obviously. We're going to have Yuri in there as well as Wraith. And I don't think that Carnage will be the main antagonist of this DLC if Jeff Grubb is correct about the standalone Venom game that Insomniac Games is working on. I think they're going to have a complete Carnage and Venom video game, essentially where the symbiotes try to take over like New York again,
bro.
So
Jeff Grubb been dropping bangers, when it comes to leaks. But obviously, like, he did say the PlayStation what's it called, showcase gonna happen at the end of the month. If that doesn't happen, he's gonna lose some credibility. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's the guy that's been saying it's gonna come up, like it's gonna happen this month. But anyways, we're just gonna keep an eye and see. I think if the showcase happens, it might not be as long as people want it to be, but it might hint towards few projects in the future. But
yeah,
anyways,
I think a showcase is to happen. It's going to be talked about one game. I don't think Marvel Spider-Man going to be talked about in there at all.
Yeah, and
That's
also
just me. It's going to be like the Final Fantasy showcase. They talk about that for some 30 to 40 minutes. So
basically, if you guys want to gain more information in regards to the showcase and Marvel Spider-Man, we go check his channel out, Jamie Podcast. He just has a video up in there in regards to the whole topic, in regards to the PlayStation showcase. But that's all for you today, guys.
Yeah, like I said, always, thanks you guys for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, make sure you smash that like button. If you aren't new, smash the like button. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. We keep you guys up to date with some of the latest and greatest superhero news. We do plan on doing more top fives. We just recently did a top 5 video on Skadoosh where we talked about 5 things that Spider-Man Miles Morales did better than Marvel Spider-Man 2018. And we do plan on, in the future here in the next couple of days, we're going to be doing a reverse where we talk about 5 things that Spider-Man 2018 did better than Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? So that's one of the things we're going to be working on, top 5s. We want to be doing, top 5 video games to be expected this year. So anything superhero related you guys want to be kept up to date with, subscribe to Skadoosh and subscribe to GME Podcast, because we want to be trying to dropping videos daily for you guys. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out towards the end of the year, going into 2025. We got the rise of Hydra. We got possibly Wolverine. We got a lot to talk about. So make sure you guys are subscribed, hit that notification bell just to stay up to date whenever we do post. And thanks for tuning in to GME Podcast as always.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. We out.